We see so many pros in the name of the tech products that are coming out. OnePlus 8 Pro, iPhone 11 Pro, AirPods Pro. What's really pro about them? I don't think anything. According to me, just a better version of a non-pro product with more premier features and a higher cost. But then you think about the iPad Pro. That's different. That one's legit. And I'm gonna tell you what's the point of it. So, spoiler alert, I have fallen in love with the iPad Pro. It's slim, lightweight, has the straight sides that we all love and want back on the iPhone. It has an amazing, sharp and a color accurate screen, which has a refresh rate of 120Hz, an extremely fast processor, decent amount of RAM, and a good battery which can withstand intense use. Face ID instead of Touch ID, which makes more sense on the iPad, and the Apple Pencil, which, although sold separately, is just a must for the iPad because it simplifies the use so much. The Pro in the name of the iPad Pro separates it from the regular iPad, and the specs, the features, and the utility you can get out of this product is something that justifies the change in the name. But why does this iPad exist? Who is it for? You should get it if you are a person who clicks pictures for a living and wants to edit them in a much simpler and easier way. Or if you are someone who makes a lot of videos and wants to edit them on the go on a device which is very slim, very light and also very powerful. Or if you're an illustrator who wants to display their creativity with the multiple tools that are available to any illustrator's disposal, but you want to do them with a one single device. If you are any of these people, the iPad is going to be a device which is inseparable from you. Let me tell you why. Starting with the people who click pictures. The iPad with the sharp display it has, which is also color accurate, and the pencil which attaches to the side of it for charging purposes. These are something that's going to be a great companion to the camera that you carry around. You simply take out this SD card from your camera, you put it into a dongle, you put the dongle inside the iPad Pro's USB-C port, you import all the pictures you need to start editing. Now you don't need to fiddle with your fingers. You use the pencil as the pointer. You swipe through all the levers for adjusting all the things that need adjusting. After the exposure, the contrast, the highlights are decided. You choose the colors you want to use to flare up the shot. The iPad Pro works like a charm through all of this and also turns out to be easier than the most traditional methods you use for editing. And it also has a 120Hz panel with a touch latency which is next to nothing. So everything that you do, it's smooth and it's really easy. Then you go on to perform the smaller edits. Remove the small unneeded details or the big distractions. Sharpen the details so that you can give the picture a bit more texture. And I'm gonna repeat, everything you do is gonna be very smooth. And the iPad Pro, of course, is gonna fly through all of these tasks and adjustments. So after editing the shot, you realize all you really needed is the iPad along with the camera. The battery life too is good enough to last you an entire day of editing, although I would suggest carrying a good power bank for the long weekends away that you might have. Another thing that the iPad can do really well, I mean really well, is the video editing. I edited some 4K footage on it, and yes, the video is not even 30 seconds long, and the only thing that I have the iPad to compare with is this puny MacBook from 2017. But to be really honest, it's still very much out of words by the way it was able to handle everything that I put on it. And you're just gonna see how easy it is for the iPad to do everything when it comes to video editing. The software that I used is LumaFusion. That is considered the best video editing app that you can get on the iPad. So again, the all useful USB-C port comes in use, as you can attach an SSD to import all the footage that you shot and the audio that you need. Once that's done, you place everything on the timeline. Pretty easy. You can also keyframe the movements and the render times are nothing. If you want, you can also put in the LUTs you have, or you can also grade the footage in the way you feel like. It's really no trouble for the iPad. 4K footage, rendering keyframes, grading, scrubbing through the footage smoothly, or even seeing the full 4K playback while editing the footage. It's nothing. And the iPad Pro also remains very cool and is never warm to the touch even while doing all of this. You can even attach a monitor in case you want to see everything bigger. If I do the same thing on my 2017 MacBook, which struggles because of how underpowered it is, it would have had the fans running at full speed in the first 5 minutes of editing. Just how much better the iPad Pro is, it's just crazy. And yeah, the export, did not take more than 25 seconds. It might have taken 1 minute, 2 minutes on the MacBook, just for comparison. Battery obviously takes a hit. The consumption while video editing is a bit more than all the other things that you can do with it, for obvious reasons. And yeah, it might not be able to completely replace the editing workflow that you currently have, but to be honest, considering taking this device along for editing on the go, that's not a far-fetched idea, given the fact that how slim and lightweight it is, and just the sheer power that it has inside. It's not a crazy idea. You might as well try it on your own. Don't take my word for it. Do take my word for it, just kidding. Now, I do not consider myself a great illustrator, but I made a few very ugly pieces of art to actually test out how well the iPad Pro can do here. And my findings were pretty simple. Procreate, iPad Pro and Apple Pencil. These three things can be just amazing for any illustrator or artist. The next to nothing touch latency, the 120Hz refresh rate make the iPad Pro perfect for taking your brush, pencil, pen, charcoal, marker, or just about anything and putting all your creative juices onto a digital canvas. Or you may as well draw different frames in order to give your creation a life beyond just the beautiful colors. The multiple tools to choose from, altering brush sizes, introducing effects, textures, elements, and the potential for creating your next piece of art is limitless. Be it a scene, a portrait, or an abstracted expression of your imagination. And the Apple Pencil too has small little details like the magnetic attachment at the side, tapping the flat side twice in order to bring up the eraser. All these things just make it a permanent companion to the iPad Pro, which sadly has to be brought separately for I don't know what reason. Apart from these very specific needs that the iPad Pro can satisfy, it can also become a great laptop replacement if you get the Magic Keyboard along with it. This Magic Keyboard supports all the iPads since the redesign in 2018. And since the iPads now also have a support for mouse and a trackpad, and there are these very simple to learn gestures which you can easily adapt to. Because of all this, a transition from a laptop to an iPad Pro will be seamless and very easy. Simple tasks like multitasking and reading emails, signing off documents, or making all written notes you need through the Apple Pencil, or using desktop grade sites can be easily done. But along with that, playing the most good looking, graphically intense games available through purchase or through the Apple Arcade is something that you will thoroughly enjoy. And you won't need to connect headphones for good audio, because the 4 speakers, 2 present on each side of the iPad Pro, are absolutely amazing. Believe me, these are MacBook level good. Here's a comparison if you don't believe me. And the host of apps available for productivity will make sure that every thought you have can be recorded, every second of your day can be tracked. And with the internals so good, the iPad Pro can work great even for the years to come. The few things that concern me though about the iPad Pro, one can be the battery life. It's good, but it's not great. The charging time is a bit too much with the charger that you get, but if you have the newer MacBooks, you can use the USB-C charger you get with those to charge it much faster. The bezels on the screen are very small, but they are big enough so that you can hold it comfortably, but I have seen myself getting some accidental touches a few times. And if you're going to get the iPad Pro from 2018 or 19, please make sure you do not get the 64GB version. I don't even know why a 64GB storage option exists for a Pro machine. Like, there's a Pro in the name. Why would you want a 64GB version of it? Why would you even launch a 64GB version of it? I don't know. But yeah, they'll learn from it. They remove the 64GB option. The base storage on the iPad Pro from 2020 is 128GB. So Apple learns from their mistakes. Apart from these very few nitpicks I could find, the iPad has so far impressed me beyond what I could imagine. The Pro in the name lives up, and if you have the use for it, you fit into the profiles that I described earlier, the iPad is going to be the most used piece of tech that you will have. So if you've been thinking about getting it, don't think anymore. Get it right now. As for those people who think that they need an iPad Pro for regular tasks, I would always suggest save up the money, go for the 10.2-inch iPad. But if you want the best in class, if you have the money to spare, and if you want to use the iPad as a laptop replacement for the years to come, go for the iPad Pro. There's nothing you would regret about that. So if you liked what you saw, like it. If you love what you saw, subscribe. And if you know someone who's looking to buy an iPad Pro, show them the video. Help them, help me be the awesome person who helps everyone. I'll talk to you in the next one.